For the most part, I know this is a pretty big game, on our schedule, and it's one of those games that you got to circle. And the mindset kind of is just, keep focusing on us, and block out the noise, block out the distractions. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be, we versus we. We got to be the best version of ourselves, in order to go out there and put our best foot forward. So, I know it's a lot of talking things, and it's an intense game, and just being here, you can feel the intensity in the atmosphere, and it's just something that I look forward to. This was one of the reasons why I chose to come to a school like this to participate in a game like this. So, he gave us a little history background about it. What stood out to me the most was how they didn't think Michigan State should be in the Big Ten. So I think I take that like as something as offensive because they probably think we're not good enough. But at the end of the day, it's still not about them or what they think. It's still about us. So that's what we really just been focusing on is us. Yeah, it's actually crazy because the game last year, I was sitting there with my teammates at UNLV, and we actually sat there and watched the game in our facility. So I knew it was like a rivalry game, but I didn't know how serious it was until I got here because I just know just seeing the title on the TV, Michigan versus Michigan State, it was going to be a great game. So it was definitely a game I always thought to myself, like, man, I always wanted to play in one of these type of games. It's one of the games that you would want to play for, that you look forward to. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, I mean, I think when I came on a visit, I had worn a blue, like a dark blue hood or something, and then it was like, man, next time just try not to wear that color because that's the school down the road, and ever since that day, I just try to avoid wearing as much blue as I could, and yeah, that's probably the first time I heard about it on my visit. I think it's real important to start fast because, in every game you want to start fast, but in this game in particular, that's a great team over there. They well coached and they got good players, but you can't allow yourself to start slow as a defense or offense when you go against good teams. So I say for the most part, you got to start fast and punch them in the mouth before they try to punch us in ours. Throughout the week, man, it was a big emphasis on stopping the run. So, 4-3 is probably one of the better defenses to stop the run. And, we practiced it a lot. We went through it a lot at practice. We watched a lot of film on it. And, just envision yourself making a play, on the film, playing the game in your head. So that's kind of what we did throughout the week. And I think that's something we go harp on even more going into this week, getting extra work. Whenever we can, and finding ways to get extra reps after practice. So, yeah. For the most part, it was kind of like the same terminology from my perspective. Probably just from motions, adjustments. Probably a little bit different terminology. You got to communicate from the back end to the linebacker level, but for the most part, man, it was pretty much the same. So it was an easy adjustment. Actually, that was something we worked on throughout camp. We worked on it from spring, summer, and camp, actually. That was one of the defenses we had. In order to be great at it and, get better at it, improvement-wise, you got to work on it as much as you can. So that's what we really been pretty much doing, working on it. Whenever they get in those big personnel groups, like, 13 personnel, I know they like to go bring a lot of tight ends out so they can run the ball. So I think that would be a good game to run this type of defense. Hungry. You got to be hungry because to be counted out, man, it means something. It means, you've been underestimated. So, and that's another reason just to add to our burn. So it's not really about the talking, about the, no offense to you guys, but about the media and what it's saying. But it's really about when we step between those lines and what you will do when the pass popping. So that's pretty much it, man. I think this is gonna be a real fun game because as a linebacker, you gotta love games like this. It gives you a chance to hit. The name of the game is hit. So it's real fun just running around hitting. Feel like you're a kid again. Playing backyard football, just more organized. And the mentality for me, and I know the mentality for the rest of the defense is, just to go hit and have fun with each other while doing it. Can't forget to have fun while doing it, while keeping in mind that it's a rivalry game. You got to go out there and compete as well. But for the most part, man, we all excited about it. I say they backs. You know, they got two pretty solid backs. You know, they some guys that could be hard to tackle at times. You know, they got great vision, powerful speed, and their O line. You know, they got a pretty decent O line. I think they do a good job with blocking and working together. So that's something I'm looking forward to as a challenge, because I look forward to playing better opponents like that to help better my game and the whole defensive game. So I look forward to it. It's kind of really to build more into the intensity. You know, it's always, each week is really like, you know, get better. But, you know, this week in particular, you know, it's such a big game on our schedule. It's give you the ability to focus even more on the smaller details. You know, he's looking for, you know, the small things, because that's what matters the most. And I noticed that he been like that throughout the whole year. But just coming into this week, he's even more like that. Like, he's even more on us about the details and, you know, execution. So for the most part, he's pretty much the same guy, but it's just that rivalry in him, you know, that brings out the more passionate side of the game for him. So he's excited about it as well. I mean, for the most part, what I've been really hearing from the guys is that it's a real intense game. You know, it's going to have a lot of people, you know, out there talking, but, you know, you got to feed off that energy. So that's something I also look forward to, is feeding off that energy, you know, feeding off the negativity that they bring in our way. You know, we don't do too much talking, but when we get on the field, we'll let our past talk. So going to an environment like that, man, you gotta love to be uncomfortable, because that's when you grow the most. So it's something I'm looking forward to, and we look forward to quieting the crowd down. So I think that's a great thing to have, like a bye week, especially before a big game like this, because it gives you a chance to prepare even more. You know, most guys take bye weeks off, but, you know, the great ones use the extra days to get better. So I think that's what we did. You know, although we had those 3 days of practice throughout the week, I think it was 3 or 4, but you know, we still got better, because over the weekend we didn't really take it all. You know, some guys came in and we watched film, and we used that extra day to get better. So I think that's a great advantage for both teams. So yeah, I mean, because in a short week, or I mean in a regular week, when you're preparing for a team, it's like, you know, you go to practice, you might see it once. You know, you might mess up, you might do good on the play, but you might not see that play until later on in the week, or probably at game time. So just having those extra practices give you a chance to see what they want to do to you a lot more. It gives you a chance to see, like, the eyeball stuff they're trying to do to us, you know, trying to, you know, trick us with formation and high formations, and, you know, get us to get miscommunicated. So those extra practices are very helpful. He was adamant about it, but he wasn't that adamant about it, because we already know that as a team. You know, we're a player-led team, and we know not to feed into the distractions. So it wasn't really too much he had to tell us, because we already know how to conduct ourselves when we're on the stage, or conduct ourselves in front of a camera. I mean, because it's a difference between playing with emotions and being emotional while playing. So I feel like, you know, you gotta represent yourself a certain way, because, you know, it's bigger than football. It's really how you represent yourself. So you could talk as much as you want, but you might just be representing yourself in a negative way, because, you know, you all talk, but when you're in between the lines, you know, it's a whole different story. I mean, it's in our house, so, you know, I wouldn't let anyone come in my house and, you know, take something that's ours. So the way I feel about it, you know, if it's important to them, it's important to me. And, you know, whatever they say, you know, I'm behind them 100%, or whatever they do, I'm behind them 100%. So just having that trophy in there with us, you know, we got to keep it there. You know, we got to keep Paul in East Lansing. So that's the big emphasis this week.